Welcome to MogulCast, where we uncover the stories behind the world's greatest business empires. Let's get into today's story.
September 2000. A small team from Netflix walks into Blockbuster's Dallas headquarters. They propose a partnership. Netflix handles online rentals, Blockbuster handles stores. For $50 million, Blockbuster gets 49% of Netflix. The response? Laughter. Taught. Blockbuster's CEO calls the idea a very small niche business. 6 years later, Blockbuster files for bankruptcy. Netflix, a $200 billion empire. This is a full story, and it is worse than you think. It starts in 1997. Reed Hastings, a software entrepreneur, is hit with a $40 late fee for a VHS copy of Apollo 13. Furious, he imagines a world without late fees. He teams up with Mark Randolph, a marketing executive, and they launch Netflix in 1998. The idea? Rent DVDs online, mail them to customers, no due dates. But DVD players are rare. Most Americans still rent VHS tapes. The odds are stacked against them. We will come back to one specific decision. It is the key to everything. Netflix early days are brutal. The dot-com bubble bursts in 2000. Investors flee. The company burns through cash. By 2001, it has fewer than 500,000 subscribers. Blockbuster, meanwhile, is a $5 billion giant with over 9,000 stores. Netflix's survival depends on one thing: convincing Americans to switch from VHS to DVD. They start mailing DVDs for free to anyone who signs up. It works. By 2002, Netflix goes public at a valuation of $300 million. But the real breakthrough is still years away. 2003. Netflix hits 1 million subscribers. The milestone is barely noticed. Blockbuster is still dominant, but Netflix is growing fast. They introduce a subscription model, unlimited rentals for a flat fee. No late fees. No due dates. Customers love it. By 2005, Netflix has 4.2 million subscribers. Blockbuster finally takes notice. They launch their own online rental service. But it's too late. Netflix has already built a loyal customer base, and they're about to make a move that changes everything. 27/7. Netflix does something radical. They introduce streaming. No more waiting for DVDs in the mail. Instant access to thousands of titles. The technology is clunky. The selection is limited. But the potential is massive. Blockbuster scoffs. They call streaming a niche market. After all, most Americans don't have the internet speed to stream movies. But not everyone is celebrating. Behind the scenes, Netflix is making a bet that will either make or break them. Here is what the media completely got wrong about Netflix. They think it was all about streaming. It wasn't. The real genius was the algorithm. Netflix recommendation engine, powered by data, predicts what customers want to watch before they know it themselves. By 2010, Netflix algorithm drives 60% of all rentals. Blockbuster? They're still relying on in-store promotions. The gap is widening. And Netflix is about to make a move that leaves Blockbuster in the dust. 2011. Netflix announces it's splitting its DVD and streaming services into two separate companies. The backlash is immediate. Subscribers revolt. Stock prices plummet. Netflix loses 800,000 customers in 1 quarter. The media calls it a disaster. But here's the twist. Netflix knew exactly what it was doing. They wanted to kill the DVD business. They wanted to force customers into streaming. And it worked. By 2012, DVD rentals collapse. Streaming becomes the future. Blockbuster? They're still trying to catch up. 2013. Blockbuster closes its last 300 stores. The once mighty empire is reduced to a handful of franchises. Netflix, meanwhile, is unstoppable. They hit 40 million subscribers. They start producing original content. House of Cards becomes a global phenomenon. Blockbuster's CEO admits they missed the boat, but the damage is done. The company that laughed at Netflix's $50 million offer is now a footnote in business history. 2014. Blockbuster files for bankruptcy. The company that once dominated the video rental industry is gone. Netflix, meanwhile, is valued at over $20 billion. They've disrupted Hollywood. They've changed how we watch TV. And they're not done. They expand into 50 countries. They produce Oscar-winning films. But here's the thing. Netflix's rise wasn't inevitable. It was the result of one decision after another. And if you've made it this far, you already understand something most analysts completely missed. The real reason Blockbuster failed wasn't streaming. It was culture. Blockbuster's leadership was stuck in the past. They saw Netflix as a threat, not an opportunity. They ignored data. They resisted change. Netflix, meanwhile, embraced it. They pivoted from DVDs to streaming. They bet on original content. They took risks, and it paid off. By 2020, Netflix has over 200 million subscribers. Blockbuster? A distant memory. Today, Netflix is worth over $200 billion. It's one of the most valuable media companies in the world. It produces more content than Hollywood. It's changed how we consume entertainment, but its impact goes deeper. Netflix proved that data could drive creativity. It showed that disruption isn't about technology, it's about mindset. And it taught an entire generation of entrepreneurs that no empire is too big to fail. Remember that decision we mentioned at the start? The $50 million offer Blockbuster laughed at? Here's what it actually cost. If Blockbuster had accepted, it would have owned nearly half of Netflix. Today, that stake would be worth over $100 billion. Instead, Blockbuster is gone. And Netflix. It's a global powerhouse. The lesson? Never underestimate a small idea. Because sometimes, the underdog wins. 2000. Netflix offers Blockbuster a $50 million deal. Blockbuster laughs. 24. Netflix goes public at $300 million. 2007. Netflix launches streaming. 2010. Netflix algorithm drives 60% of rentals. 2011. Netflix loses 800,000 customers in one quarter. 2013. Blockbuster closes its last 300 stores. 2014. Blockbuster files for bankruptcy. 2020. Netflix hits 200 million subscribers. 2026. Netflix is worth over $200 billion. Here's the surprising truth. Netflix didn't beat Blockbuster with technology. It beat them with psychology. Blockbuster's late fees were a pain point. Netflix removed it. Blockbuster's stores were convenient. Netflix made waiting obsolete. Blockbuster's model was built on scarcity. Netflix built its model on abundance. The real lesson? Disruption isn't about being first. It's about being first to solve the problem customers don't even know they have. If you want to understand how this pattern repeats across every major business collapse, the next video covers a story with disturbing parallels. That one is next.
That's the story for today on MogulCast. If you found this valuable, subscribe and hit the bell. A new empire story drops every single weekday. See you tomorrow.